Conversate for a few.
Welcome to the next episode of Conversate for a Few. I'm Jonna.
I'm Alan. This is not a podcast about classical music. What's going on?
Absolutely is not. This is a podcast about hip hop. What we doing today, bro?
This is freestyle. It's a lot of things going on, a lot of things to cover. And the first thing that I wanted to just throw out there for us to talk about a little bit is Ill Mind, which you sent me the article with the producer. Ill Mind basically developing his own cryptocurrency.
Yeah, Ill Mind is going crazy in the crypto in the crypto game because he is losing his whole shit.
Yeah.
Like, excuse me, bro. Already sold the first. If y'all watched the last episode, y'all know Ill Mind sold the first beat pack as NFT, right? Definitely the first artist / producer or industry person to have his own coin. It's called Black Coin.
Yeah.
So I don't know if y'all familiar with it or even if you familiar with it, but I listened to his podcast. I don't even know if he still does it because he's so busy with everything else.
Right.
But he had a podcast called Black Chat where he talked to it was a producer podcast, so he talked to all different types of producers. You know what I'm saying? Well, hip hop producers, like different types of hip hop, I guess you would say.
Right.
And he stepped. I don't know if he stepped away from that completely, but he's still using the Black theme, and it's a Black coin is what it's called, which is nuts, yo. And it's funny because him starting his own coin, and it's on the same platform as the NFT art.
Right.
And I think maybe we need to make a distinction because, you know, NFT art is in my understanding is only on the Ethereum platform, right? Like you got it.
Art.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe that maybe I'm not 100% sure because I know in general, I guess to get into selling things as NFTs, you have to develop a wallet, right?
Yeah, you have to create a wallet. Well, that's the thing. Like to deal in cryptocurrency at all, you have to create a wallet, right?
Right.
And you can create those wallets in different places. And I think something like Ethereum and Bitcoin are similar because they're both cryptocurrencies, but I think they're on two different blockchain platforms. So I think Bitcoin is on its own and Ethereum is a different platform. And I think
Ethereum is a different platform. It's on a different platform than Bitcoin.
Right. And I don't know if that's important to anybody, but it's just I don't know if that's going to help with the democratization of music and NFTs, or will that hinder it or not? You know, I just know that there's a huge difference now, and I know Ill Mind is running with the Ethereum platform. It's funny because I think I sent you earlier today. Punch from TDE.
Yeah, I saw that.
Was talking about doing a masterclass, but making it an NFT.
Yes.
And in his comments, that he did that on Instagram, and in his comments, Ill Mind was like, "Yo, holla at me now." You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Yo, it's getting ready to go down, bro. This is about to go down.
It's that was my thoughts when you said that punch joint. I was like, man, this is like the idea and the concept is spreading like wildfire, and I think is mainly because of what we talked about last episode, which is how a person can be with
say that again.
You can. I think that it's spreading like wildfire because the way it's being presented and put out there, and people are benefiting from it, but you have way more autonomy than being with the label.
Yeah. It's funny because in the research that I was doing after the show, I just kept reading because so much more information came out since we recorded, right? It was an article about one of the things, it was concerning one of the things that we talked about. It was like NFT's effect on music and the independent artists being able to release their own music that way, right? It was saying that right now that's not necessarily viable because of the price point to create the NFT, to mint your NFT. So you wouldn't mint one song for this price. It doesn't necessarily make sense for any artist to do it yet because the price of minting a song is so high.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You know, but I think there's ways around that.
Yeah, but then I'm just thinking about this. Kendrick has 2 songs that he want to release. He mint both. He gets both of them minted.
Yeah.
That it's going to pay off. So it may not pay off a small someone that is not known and don't have a fan base.
Right.
But a Kendrick, a Cole, like imagine if they minted one song.
Yeah.
And that was the only thing to get was as an NFT.
Yeah, and that's what he was talking about. He was talking about the independent artists. Like a Drake, a Kendrick, a J. Cole. They step outside of their label deal and mint anything. You know,
right?
They can mint a love letter that they wrote. You know what I'm saying? It don't even have to be music.
Right. Absolutely.
So, but for the artists, the independent artist culture,
right? The average artist,
I don't know that it helps them yet. But with everything, once the technology proliferates, the prices come down.
Yeah.
And I can see the prices coming down on this real fast.
Right. Now, this is, I love freestyles, you know what I mean? When you freestyle, because it's so much, it's literally like a freestyle verse. You just bring in anything, what you see going on.
Yeah.
So I wanted to almost go back a year or two, but bringing it up to date. Where does, and I'm asking this because of the guest that was on Joe Budden recent podcast.
My man.
Stout, yeah.
My man.
Where does United Artists, because he explained what they do and it made so much sense to me. So I'm trying to figure out, where do you see what he's doing factoring in or connecting into the NFT crypto world? And the reason I asked that is because they was asking him, basically, Parson said, well, my music is on, which is ironic, Apple just invested in their company too, but he said, my music is on Apple. Like, why would I go with you?
Well, actually, he said his music was on DistroKid.
DistroKid, right. He was like, so why would I go with you? And then he was explaining. He said, well, with us, anybody, you could be a super popular artist or just the average artist, and you can do it. You can, set up your account, this, that, and the other, get your music, and get your music put on all these different places. And he said, you can pay an upfront fee,
$5 a month,
like $5 a month, or you know what I mean, we take afterwards a percentage, but they only take 10% and the artist keeps 90.
Right.
He said they have 1 million artists at this point.
They just hit 1 million. Another way that they could do it too is you give up a certain percentage and they help with your marketing. You see what I'm saying? Like you give up, right. you can keep that 90. You see what I'm saying? Or you can give up some of that 90 and let them keep it. And then the more you let them keep, the more marketing services that you get. And then you can rearrange it once you get where you're trying to go. So you're not stuck in one of those contracts where if I sign you for a 5-year term with 2 options, then you in there for 7 years if I want you for 7 years. With the United Masters model, I could let you own more until I get where I'm trying to go. And then your ownership ends because I say so.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that's real dope.
Yeah,
but you was asking me something about United Masters and NFT specifically, right?
Right. I was saying, like, what do you think? And I'm asking this because the question was, don't record labels hate you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't record labels not like you or get along, like, you know what I mean? Because, and so I'm just saying, how do you think, I don't know if you have any thoughts at all on how NFT will factor into what they're doing over there at United Masters.
I'm going to be honest with you. This might not make a lick of sense to nobody watching this, but you'll understand. I think United Masters is going to do exactly what my idea is.
Oh, got you. Yeah. Yeah.
When he said that, I was like, shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When he said, but I mean, not like I have the money to implement that idea now, but I do have the ideas, and I do know people, and I can try. You know, but not that I'm not gonna try, because I think, you know, he's gonna do it. But I feel like I think he sees. Steve Stout is the type of person that'll see what the labels don't see, what the streaming platforms don't see. You know what I mean? He'll find that one space and sit right in between all of those, which is what I feel like United Masters is. You know, it's that one space that's right in between the major labels and the DSPs and the you know, YouTube is like right in the middle. So I can have a good relationship with all you guys. You know, as an entity, and then, you know, glean from your resources, but be my own entity, and an artist come here because I'm not any of you guys, but I have access to it. So I think and I think that's the same way they're gonna work with NFTs. You know, if you can use United Masters to get popular, why wouldn't you? And one, if you at United Masters, you understand something about ownership.
Yeah.
You should. And if you just ended up there and you stumbled on United Masters and you don't know anything about ownership, that's one of the great beauties of United Masters, because there was nothing like that for people before, right? To stumble onto a decent situation for yourself. Usually you stumble onto some bullshit. But most people, if you at United Masters, I feel like you there because you understand ownership is valuable. Right. If you at a place where you can give up small bits of ownership and they can help you grow yourself, you know what I mean? And once you've grown yourself, this place, I think, is going to be smart enough to say, well, why wouldn't you sell your NFTs through here? And let us keep this small percentage for that, too. We already helped you get popular. We showed you where your audience is.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying? Like,
the more you talk, the more I know exactly what they're going to do. Yeah,
you know exactly what they're going to do. You know you know exactly what they, and I hate if y'all if Few Tang Clan, if the last 3 to 5 minutes don't make any sense to y'all, I apologize, but I feel like some of y'all understand what we saying.
Yeah.
United Masters is gonna fill a void for NFTs.
Right. Exactly.
You know? And I think that's a good bridge for that independent artist to find the popularity for NFT to benefit him. Yes. Yeah. You know. Yeah. I'm happy about United. Every young artist I come in contact with, I try to send them toward United Masters. Every one of them. Right. And Chips is going through United Masters too. Yeah. Yeah, it's going through samples and all. It's going through there. I don't give a damn. Let's do what you gotta do.
So, man, what else? Like, what else in the music world?
Let's get into some gossip, nigga. Hey, what's wrong with Joe Budden and them, son?
That's what I like with my co-hosts. I like when my co-host is about the drama. But yeah, it's interesting, and I know you have a analysis and your own perspective on it, which I think we agree on, which is we both seen stuff bubbling under the surface before any of this even happened. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think, and I was going to actually call you the other day because the whole rant Joe Budden initially went on when he was letting people know what was going on with the situation, like, they're my guys, they'll be back. It's just a miscommunication. And it was no mention. He's like, it ain't about money because there's enough money to go around, blah, blah, blah. But I meant to tell you, but then the next episode and after that, and even people connected to the situation was kind of talking. Now, like the next is when he came back again on the next one, he was talking about, he spent 30 minutes, 40 minutes talking about the money.
Money. Yeah.
And like how much the person that that coached the play, put the play together. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Basically saying how he deserves the bigger portion, right? Yeah. Which is, be that as it may, is true. You know what I mean? Right? But my thing is, why, if you knew part of the problem was about money, when you said the previous episode was not about money, it is about money.
Yeah.
I think they do want more money. I think that is part of it. And that was the miscommunication. It wasn't a miscommunication. It was about how much money they wanted and what you were getting and what you was going to give them.
Yeah, I think it was. I definitely think. You know what's funny is I think it's about money, but it's like I said about this show, me and you friends, right? But we not the type of friends like I'm not your friend like Justin is your friend.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like it's different. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? But we didn't build this podcast based on our friendship. We built the podcast based on a love for hip hop.
Oh, hip hop facts.
You know what I'm saying? And because they built the podcast on their friendship, if anything happens to the friendship, it's a problem.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? If something happened to our friendship, it might make the show better because we might argue a little bit more. You see what I'm saying? But we'll still be talking about hip hop.
Right, because it's centered on that. Yeah.
Right. So
too much of their interpersonal feelings is involved in their podcast.
They have to sit there and talk shit to each other too much for it to stay good for long.
Right.
That shit was gonna go bad after a while anyway. Because
you can't just sit. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Because you built it on top of bullshit. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think that's why I wanted to talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just comparative to what people are doing in the content world versus what we doing in the content world.
Right.
That's why I wanted to,
I'm glad you said that because now I'm hyped up, but I ain't gonna try to yell and bang on the desk or nothing. But this is all the podcasts that are popping.
Yeah.
From the rappers or retired rappers that are good. There's only a few. There's only a handful, literally, that are actually good.
Yeah.
The People's Party, Talib Kweli, is good. It's informative.
Yeah.
You learn hip hop. You learn hip hop history. You learn about a lot, right?
Yeah.
But even with what he's do, it is an interview-based driven podcast.
That's it.
They're not necessarily uncovering and going deep into and basically like our podcast. I'm just say it's like divine revelation. We be bringing out shit no one ever heard. You never knew. They didn't know the origin. They didn't know the origin of the stigma of ghostwriting in hip hop until we tracked it down.
Nah, they didn't, because we didn't.
Right.
That's right.
We had to do our due diligence to find that out and put it together.
Right.
And a lot of the other things that we've brought out, that people haven't heard. So there's a lot of people, there's some good podcasts out there. We don't have to go through them all, but there's a few that are good, but still what sets us apart is number one, since neither one of us were ever major celebrities, we don't got a bunch of celebrity friends to bring in.
There you go.
To interview.
We're not leaning on them niggas.
Interview. We're not. Yeah, right. We're not basing our whole lifeline on getting famous people on our podcast to interview to keep our numbers up.
Right.
Because we believe and we approach this like we did with our music with integrity, that if what we're talking about is substantive enough, that people will love it. It might take longer and more of a grind, but in the long run, we're built on something that we can do this until we're 100 years old.
That's a fact.
When you build it just on interviews or you just build it really on BS, it has a very limited shelf life.
Yeah.
It's not going to last.
Yeah. You're only as popular as what's popular in the news, if that's what you're talking about.
Exactly. That's the other thing. We don't build it off interviews and we don't build it off of what is trending.
Right. That's right. And that's a beautiful thing. And I was gonna say it's not a knock on Joe, not a knock on that podcast, but it kind of is. You know what I'm saying? Like it kind of is, because that's fluff. That ain't necessary. Don't nobody need that. The game don't need that.
Right.
I think the game needs Conversate for a Few. I think the game needs Yada Main podcast. I think the game needs Broken Record from Rick Rubin. You know what I'm saying? I think the game needs Dissect.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it don't need, I hate to say it, but it don't need Mano.
Right.
It don't need Mano talking to Bimmy.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
did me interview anyway with Queen's Flip, but yeah.
Right. That's
right.
for Queen's Flip. But see, people want to get into the space. You know what I mean? Like,
right. And so, and let me tell you something. This is not a knock on anyone or anything. This is just speaking our honest opinion about stuff because that's what we do. And we ain't scared to fight. But
facts.
But I feel like let me just say this, and this should probably be our YouTube snippet.
Okay.
Before COVID-19 and pre-COVID-19, we've been doing a podcast. All y'all, 90% of y'all, particularly in the music industry, just start doing podcasts when COVID hit a year ago.
Facts.
Go back and check our hours. We over 120 episodes in. We was been doing the podcast before it became the popular thing to do. Yeah. And then let's be clear. People jumping out the window doing whole production shows calling it podcast and they ain't a podcast. Bro. See, now I'm just doing dots just so people let's talk about it.
Yo,
stop calling everything a podcast.
I'm so glad you said it because in my mind, what was going through my head was just before we got on is I watched a clip of Big Face Gary.
Big Face Gary.
Gary. He was sitting with EFN and and you saw that? And he was asking about the Nas thing and all that, you know what I'm saying, why he threw Nas all them softball questions and stuff. But what they got around to was EFN actually explaining to them dudes what a podcast is.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he was telling them, he was like, yo, we have a deal for the audio, which is a podcast. And then we have a deal for the TV. And then we have a deal for the premiere, which was on Tidal. So the Tidal was the premiere deal. The audio was Mass Appeal, which is why they was talking to Nas. And then Revolt had the TV, which was also YouTube, right?
Right. And Nori said a while ago, he said, we are no longer, he said, shout out to everyone in the podcast lane. He said, Drink Champs is no longer a podcast.
Right.
It's a TV show.
It's a TV show. Right. And the funny thing is we still release ours in podcast format. Right?
Right.
And so does Drink Champs. I won't take it away. And so does Joe Budden. There are people that still release it in podcast format, but to your point, most of those people, the COVID cast, is what we call it. The COVID cast. Them people don't even know what a podcast is, bro.
Yeah, but first of all, the COVID cast people that you talking about that just jumped in out of nowhere, number one, don't actually know what a podcast is. And never listen to NPR. If you ain't never listened to All Things Considered back in the day, you ain't listened to Diane Reeves or Frank Station.
Come on with it.
Then you don't talk to me about no podcast.
Salute Diane Reeves.
If you ain't an advocate of NPR, that's big facts. Yeah. I don't even want nothing.
If you don't know Hourglass, if you don't know what Hourglass is, get the fuck out of here. If you don't know David Sedaris, what is we talking about?
Right. You know what I mean? Legends, man.
Yeah, out here in this game. If you don't know who these people are, you shouldn't be on the mic.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. So two things I've seen happen in this podcast lane as it relates to musicians, producers, and artists getting in the game, right? I've noticed that some people that are actually in the game, we know way more than them.
Oh, yeah.
I've learned from listening to podcasts, so I'm listening to people misquote songs, artists, not knowing what albums came out. Like all the time, I thought everybody was on it. Like
I thought these people knew. Like we know. I thought they was living what we was living. You know what I mean? I thought they cared the way we cared. Because if you do,
talking, and these New York people too.
Yeah.
Not just New York, but other places too. But wow, y'all don't even
care.
You know what I mean?
Y'all don't. You know what the thing is, bro? I'm gonna tell you the honest truth.
Having guests on and talk about what, but it ain't even connected.
I'm gonna tell you the God's honest truth, bro. I feel like they took hip hop for granted.
Yeah,
because they in proximity, they were so close to it. They didn't learn it the way we did. You see what I'm saying? Like because we was detached from it. You know what I'm saying? 8 hours removed, a 10-hour drive from the birthplace of it. You know what I'm saying? Then it was like we was soaking up every nook and cranny of it. When I think some of it, you know, like I don't think a lot of New Yorkers cared the way we did, bro.
Yeah, I can see that.
And not just North Carolinians. The way when I say we as the greater United States that wasn't born into the culture, that had to seek it out and search for it. I feel like we found things in it that they just you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I just believe that.
Yeah, it was much more of a novelty to us than for them. I feel like, because it was from there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And oftentimes that's how I go.
Yeah.
You're more loved somewhere else than actually where you're from.
That's just the game itself, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
So wow, ain't that funny? Like, hip hop, it's just the game. You can't even take it personal. The shit happens to hip hop itself.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I ain't gonna front, for years we took that shit personal, bro.
What?
As MCs, I didn't know if you did. I was just talking like writer's block as a whole. We took that shit we took it personal.
Extremely. Like, you gotta understand, like, people was having fights.
Yeah.
I mean, like, man, a lot of fights started behind music.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Oh no, I'm gonna tell you what I was saying is what we took personal was the fact that we would get more love elsewhere than we would here.
Oh,
we took that shit personal. We didn't appreciate that. You see what I'm saying? Like, radio wouldn't fuck with us. You know what I'm saying? And such wouldn't fuck with us. It was like, damn. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't get the prices for the beats that you wanted. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't like it wasn't worth it, because niggas out of town was paying the shit.
Right.
You know, and having heat. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. I think that's if I had realized then that hip hop itself goes through that same exact thing, then I would not have taken it so personally.
Right,
you know?
right.
I guess that's what I'm saying, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I was trying to keep a list of what we was talking about through the freestyle, so that I could kind of give so they could jump around through the things, since it's all over the place. But shit, the last thing I wrote down was United Masters, nigga. That's been 20 minutes ago.
Oh man.
Yeah, bro. Oh, so talk to me about plugs I met too.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's where I was going.
Is it?
So plugs I met, yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So plugs I met too is number one. I don't think they should have named it Plugs I Met Too. I feel like I think Plugs I Met was such
a classic.
Great work. It was a classic. Yeah. Only name it that if you know for sure, hands down, it's going to be you serving up the same stuff, and it's not at all. Matter of fact, I haven't went back and listened to that since it got released.
You know
and
what?
I don't have any intentions on listening to it. I think the production was subpar. And another big part is I think it was not engineered well. So sonically, it doesn't sound good to me. Like the very first song, like it's like 3 songs that I kind of like. So there's 3 songs that I'm really feeling off the project of 9, 10 songs. Yeah. And it's like, even with those 3, I have critiques on each one of them. Like one of them, like the sample is the horns on the first one, so loud and drowned. I'm like, why? I don't know. It's just too many. It's too many imperfections throughout the whole thing. Like, damn, this should be that. Like, why these drums sound like this? Why did the strings sound like that? Like, why did he put this here? Like the very first song, did you hear how abruptly it ends?
I didn't.
What you nigga? The fuck? That's what you said. Like, huh? Oh, the song is over.
The song. I said that's it.
Oh, I didn't. I sound like a mixtape. It's like a mix. Like the very first track on the album goes off. It ends extremely abruptly and sounds like a mixtape.
Yeah. I agree with everything you said, bro. It definitely shouldn't have went with Plugs I Met Too.
Nah.
I got a question. I kind of know the answer after everything you just said, though. But had he went with a different theme, do you think it would have been received better by us? If he'd have just left the Plugs I Met theme alone and just came with something completely different, just another little Benny project. You see what I'm saying? It's in between. But because it was labeled Plugs I Met, that puts an expectation on it. It's going to be an expectation because it's Benny anyway, but I think Benny's been doing different things, so we okay with Benny doing different.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I don't think that would have been the flaw, but because he labeled it Plugs I Met, maybe we put a little extra pressure on that joint. What you think?
Yeah, I think to a certain degree, yeah, I agree with that to a certain degree. But just being who we are and how we approach music, and I know you do, we try to not do that compared to other. We try to just listen to objectively as possible and just listen to what the artists and the producers giving us. Yeah. And I'll be honest, project isn't bad because Benny does what Benny always does. He raps and it's good.
Yeah.
So I'm unfortunately I'm putting this all on the tech team. I'm putting this on the producer, Harry Fraud. Now, partly we could put a little bit of blame on Benny, saying he could have got better beats, right? Or chose better beats. But even with the beats that they made, so I put it on Harry Fraud. I don't think Harry Fraud is good as everyone thinks he is personally. I don't think he's that good. I would have much rather heard a Plugs I Met 2 with Static Selector, a Plugs I Met 2 produced by Alchemist, a Plugs I Met 2
shit with
Derringer. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or even Pete Rock. Yeah. So I you know what I mean? So I'm putting it on him and whoever was the engineer.
I think Parks did that shit, bro.
Technical part. Parks, okay.
I think Parks did it.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Parks did it.
Well, then that's a problem.
It is.
That's a problem. You know what I mean? But you brought me back to something. But I'll wait. Do you want to say any more about Benny? Because it's something that we have to address, and we would not be part of the hip hop community if we did not address something that happened on that show. When you mentioned Parts, it brought me back to it.
Okay. Well, I am gonna say something about Benny.
Yeah, go ahead.
There was a. You said you hadn't gone back to it, right? There was an Instagram post that I read, and it was about his bars on one of the particular songs. And the way this person put it reminded me of the conversations that we have. Because the way they said what they said was so fucking important. And it was like, it just made what Benny is saying in his song. He was talking about survivor's remorse, survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's like, a lot of us deal with that that get successful. And then some of our other people don't. We just looking at it, it comes from a lot of different places. Yeah. And she was just talking about how he eloquently speaks to that in his verses on particular song and all that. And I was like, see, this is the kind of shit that will make me go back and listen to an album that I feel like is subpar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's Benny. It's not Harry Fraud. It's Benny doing work. You know what I mean? It's Benny being an artist. So that's the only reason, in my opinion, that's the only reason I would go back is because I don't know, because I didn't enjoy it as much as I normally would. I know I didn't pay as much attention to Benny as I normally would have.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because the beat got to pull me first. And some of those, I was trying to like the damn beat. And it was just like, this just ain't good. Like, it's just too much wrong with the beat. It's a lot here. But it's just too much wrong with it for it to be a good beat. Like, damn, why is he doing that? Why is that there? Like, why is this on this beat? Why are the drums in this pattern? Benny shouldn't be rapping on this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a lot of that on this album. And
a lot of that.
And that's producer issues. Tech team, like you said.
Everybody on the technical side.
They failed Benny.
Yeah, I feel like.
They failed Benny. Especially with it being the Plugs I Met. Because now, Plugs I Met 3, I don't give a shit because I don't know what he gonna do with the you know what I'm saying, with that content series. I don't know what he gonna do with the series.
Right.
So it might be good, it might not.
Right.
When before it was a shoe-in, you see Plugs I Met anything, that's gonna be a classic. You can't taint a series like that, bro.
Yeah, and that's my thing about it. Wow.
They need to slow down. Before we go on, I just want to say this as it. I know they probably won't hear, but as vice it is, if this is the type of shit that's starting to happen, they need to slow down.
And with releasing music, you mean?
Right.
And take more time.
Exactly. Slow down. Don't just keep going get with producer to producer to producer and think you're just gonna be able to create heat rocks all over the place. Like it's, and if it ain't hot, somebody around them need to be like, yo, this ain't it, yo.
And let me say this too. In naming producers, I felt like he could have did a better job with doing the plugs I meant to. What I meant to say is also I would have loved the plugs I meant to produced by heat makers.
I knew that was coming.
It worked. It worked. Jim Jones showed it could work. It can work for Benny.
It can. I don't want to hear that shit though. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that.
Oh man.
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Heat makers ain't
right,
no better than Harry Fraud.
Oh.
Heat makers ain't that fucking good. Arsonist ain't that good. He's okay at best. At best.
Right. He's much better than Harry Fraud. They are, and together they are much better. Because you hear Jim Jones' album Capo, and you heard the beats on Plus I Met Too.
Well, this is what I'm gonna say. It's a whole bunch of stuff. It's a whole bunch of beats on Capo that I could do without. I'm not in love with the beats on Capo. Don't get it twisted. I am not in love with that shit. I'm in love with Capo because Jim did his thing. So when Jim was doing his thing, I love it. And the songs I love. But there's some joints on Capo. I'm like, this is trash. The beat.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, there's some beats on there, and I'm like, they should have kept this bullshit. And and that's his style. The ones that I don't like is his style.
Yeah.
And that's what he's running to. So
yeah.
I don't want to hear that.
Now,
I don't want to hear that.
Perfect. Remember, I told you I wanted to jump into something, and it's funny because you're doing, but it's different coming from you, and you're talking about somebody. You're talking about Arsonist. Yeah. You ain't talking about Primo. Like,
yeah.
So on that show, that man, and this leads me to the major question: is how do you think the show can survive with those new guests, the new people that's covering down Ice and Ish? Because Ice said, and he needs to be banned from all talk and social media platforms and any public speaking. He needs to be banned for at least a year.
Yeah.
To go and send it to hip hop jail to go and listen to Primo catalog because he said he don't like Premier beats.
Yeah.
Right, which is a mad general statement. And but then I get what he's saying, like the sound, like the sound, but that's hard. I can see how you say I don't want to hear 8 artists albums back to back all produced by Primo. Something like that I could get, right? But to say I don't like Primo beats or I don't like his whole sound is insane because you know how many songs I can throw out there? Like, so you just hate it. Nas is like what I don't understand. So you just hate it.
Yeah.
Like what are you saying? Like do you realize what you're saying? Because I know there's beats that I could tell him of songs that doesn't sound like a typical Primo beat. Like royalty really don't sound like.
God knows. I swear to God,
Primo
I'm in my head. I'm in my head. Royalty's playing.
Primo beat. Right.
Yeah. Hold on. Go back. Say that the last 2 sentences.
Primo produced Christina Aguilera double CD. Like, what is he talking about?
Right.
And all them beats don't sound like beats he gave Jay. But even like Jay, like the Evils don't sound like a typical Primo beat necessarily. Minus the scratches and the hook.
The thing is, bro was trying to clean it up. I'm gonna answer both of your questions. First, I think bro was trying to clean it up because what he ended up saying was, I don't like Primo beats now.
Yeah,
he was like he got a signature sound, and when his signature sound was popping was in the 90s and in the early 2000s, it was fine for then. He don't want to hear it now, is what he was saying. I don't like Primo now, which is retarded. But this is the thing.
Yeah,
because if it's a what you're listening to when you hear somebody like him speak is somebody that's just a, and this is gonna sound, he ain't nothing but a fan, bro.
Yeah.
He has no more insight than the average fan. And you can't have a conversation like we having with an average fan.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Because he's trendy. If Primo made a classic then and you listen to it now, how in the fuck don't you like it now? If it was a classic. You understand what I'm saying? Like the fact that it's classic means it holds up over time.
Right, that's the point. Right.
You see what I'm saying? So like, he's just a hater. He don't like the type of rappers that rap over Primo beats. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he ain't gonna like Nas.
Right.
And if you listen to the show, I think it's been a couple. One of them niggas shitted on Nas.
Yeah.
And I think it was him. You see what I'm saying? Like, he don't want to have to think when he listening to music.
Mm-hmm.
So if you know what I mean, like that's the way it sounds. It don't sound like he want to have to, you know.
You're right. I mean, he don't look like no one I hang out with anyway.
I'll be honest with you.
Like, this outfit.
None of them dudes, Joe included, look like none of them seem like anybody I would be around.
Even hanging out.
Yeah, none of them. So that's the catch. But the second question you asked is, do I think the show will last without with Ish and Ice? I guess is the Ish and Ice. Yeah. First, that's stupid.
Yeah.
One of y'all can't be my friend. One of y'all got to change your name, or you can't be my friend, because I can't have one friend named Ish, and the other one named Ice. What's going on here? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, okay, one of y'all got to change your name. I'm not going to call both of y'all. Both of y'all name can't start like this. 3 letters with an I. We can't do that.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? But I do think the show will last with them. Because I don't think the show was dependent on Maul or Rory.
Right. And that's what so good. And because I'm asking one more question, we off it. But I agree with you. And to be honest, minus Ice is stupid. He said a lot of stupid stuff, though, actually. He said a lot of stuff I don't like. Ice, the light skin was sitting on the couch next to Joe Budden.
Yeah.
He's better. So, in my opinion, I think the whole show is better without Maul and Rory. Number one, Maul don't do much talking, and nobody expect much from Maul. Yeah. Nobody comes to the show to get, like, wisdom and insight from Maul on anything. Yeah. So, we don't even... he's a throwaway. He's just a placeholder. You don't even need him. That's a fact. It's kind of in the artist lane. He manages a group. He has a little more musical, to me, knowledge.
To my Rory.
And Rory has a little bit more musical knowledge. He has I think a little better perspective on knowledge and things. But you can do without him too, because because a lot of people do.
Yeah.
So we don't necessarily. So you can replace both of them are replaceable.
Yeah.
And I feel like if the show is better with them, I'm
gonna tell you the truth. The show itself is Joe Budden acting a fool and people around him reacting to it. That's the show.
Yeah, reacting better.
You see what I'm saying? And the reason
that's why I went down.
The reason
because
it
Roy
seems
not to react no more.
Well, no, he was reacting. He was just reacting how he really felt. Like, I'll beat your ass in here. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what he's just talking crazy to Joe. But I think that's the thing. Is people will like the show because it had gotten to a point. I think they'll like it better with Ice and Ish after a while, after they get used to him, because it had gotten to a point. They said it this week. It had gotten to a point where most of the Joe, Rory, Maul, Parks weren't giving their true opinions on the show.
Right, yeah. He said that on the news.
You see what I'm saying? They were protecting themselves. So they weren't on the show really sharing the shit.
Yeah.
These two new niggas don't realize that the world is listening. So they just up there saying what the hell ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's fine.
Right.
You know, like that works to say something controversial. Because old dude with the glasses was he. The funny thing is, he's sitting in Maul's seat, and he basically is Maul.
Right.
Like the opinions that he gives, I'm like,
right.
They gonna fry you, nigga. Like you know that don't make sense. Even if you believe that shit, you can't say it out loud.
Right.
You know what I mean? But he don't give a fuck, and that's what Joe want.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like he want that.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's good for your personal life or not, he doesn't care.
Right.
You know, so that's just the way it goes. So would the show be better? Yeah.
Yeah. So the last question, we can move off this, but do you think that they're coming back?
No.
Because I'm gonna tell you from the very first episode that he addressed it, I felt like they ain't never coming back. I've seen this before. Yeah. I don't think they're coming back.
Yeah,
I that.
I don't see it.
And 10, 12 shows in, he gonna say, yeah, they, you know, it's
I'm gonna tell you what. After that conversation he had with Steve Stout, they not coming back.
Why did you say you don't think that they will return though after this Steve Stout interview?
Because Steve Stout basically told him, "Fuck them niggas." In so many words. In so many words, Steve Stout was like, "Yo, if them niggas is not ready to grow from you, I know what you here to do, Joe. You here to get a bag. Fuck them niggas."
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like them niggas is not vital to you getting where you trying to go, and they acting like they are. You can't have that. You see what I'm saying? Like that ain't how that go. It take a certain temperament to have people around you acting like you need them when you know you don't, and you keep them around.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like you're not gonna treat me like I need you and I don't need you. You can't do that. You know what I mean? It's got to be, and I feel like that's where it was at. Like you're not necessary here. You think we'll be all right, man? If they offer us the big bag, you think we'll make it?
Yeah. If they offer us the big bag, we'll be straight.
Yeah, we'll be straight. I feel
you know why? Because if somebody wanted to give us 10 million right now, right? And people look at it and say, well, there's two people, so they should split it, right? Mm-hmm. 5 mil for me, 5 mil for you, right? No, I don't think that. I think I should get 3. I think you should get the other 2 mil because you do all the engineer work. You do all the other things that I don't do. You do all the artwork. See, this is the thing. It's speaking to the point you made, they think they're more vital and valuable than they actually are. So I know what I offer. I offer good, what the show is, a podcast, good talk, but then there's other work behind the scenes that falls on your shoulder. So you should larger percentage. To me, that's just simple math.
Yeah, that's it.
And it shows value for the person that's doing work that you know you're not doing to make the podcast go.
But that's integrity. And we have that. We talk about integrity quite a bit on this podcast. You know what I mean? And the way we set our podcast up, you see what I'm saying? All the way through what you just said it ain't nothing but integrity all the way through.
Yeah.
And that's why if somebody was to hand us a $10 million bag, it wouldn't bother us at all.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like
and let me say this. And even if let's say I'm in there, like, and see, this is the difference, which is ironic that they're all friends. Like, let's say that we was offered the 10 million bag, but they whoever's offering it wanted to give you 8 and only give me 2. I would still be good with it. You know why? Because it's going to my man. I know I ain't never gonna be homeless. I ain't never gonna starve because we good. I already know that.
That's right. We good. Matter of fact, it's the same thing. That's the same thing. If they offer you 8 and offer me 2, who cares? Because I know what we finna do. You should have said we finna go make some albums. Who gives a shit?
I know we about to create a dynasty.
Yeah, it don't matter who get the money. We finna make some music. You see what I'm saying? Right. We good. Yeah, that's it. That's when that's real though.
Yeah, so we definitely would survive that.
Yeah.
But it was, I was going to ask you, oh, music that came out this past, like music that came out last Friday. Was there anything that you liked?
Shit.
Rod Wave came out.
I had a conversation with Nudie about Rod Wave.
What's your thoughts?
Nudie said this ain't it. Newski was like, this ain't it. And I he said it on Twitter. And I was like, is it not it? Because to me, it sounded like he was trying to land a hit over and over and over again. So there's no real, it's like one long ass song.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I ain't feeling it. So that's the first thing I listened to. But
Okay.
the second thing I listened to,
Yeah.
Dumb and Dumber 2.
That shit hot.
Key Glock
It's
and
a
Young
fire on
Dolph.
that motherfucker.
Fire. You hear
Fire on
me?
that shit.
You hear me? Don't let anybody steer you wrong. Now that is some fire.
I didn't want to like it.
Me either. You ever listen to something and you don't want to like? I'm listening to. I don't want to like this.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, man, this is hard right here.
The penguin shit.
The penguin. Penguins, Aspen, and Glock We Trust, Cheat Code, I'm the Type, Coordinate, Case Closed, Brain Right. Yo, I like all these.
Yeah.
For the most part, it's maybe 2-3 joints, and to be honest, it's a lot. It's 20 joints. I like 90% of the album.
Yeah, it's some joints on there, and I didn't expect to like it either. I didn't expect.
Yo, and let me tell you this. I have not listened to anything Young Dolph since Young Dolph first came out. Right?
Okay.
I've grown. I gained so much respect. Young Dolph is rapping on this.
Yeah.
He's rapping on some song. I was like, oh, like some of the stuff he said, some of the bars. I'm like, what I like is I can see he actually sat down and trying to do the best that he can do with what he does.
Okay, so I'm gonna say a name, and I'm gonna see if you can relate this to what Dolph is doing. 2 Chainz. You see what I'm saying? Like he ain't as good a rapper, but the witty,
right.
you know what I'm saying? The bars, having fun with it, being, you know what I'm saying? Keeping it simple, but being so witty to be like, yo, that nigga spitting.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And then using a nice little pocket for the cadence, not going too crazy, but like the cadence is like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just fly enough for you to rock with it. Yeah, nigga doing this thing, yo. I ain't gonna front. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And I know that's a curveball for most people to hear from me.
Definitely a curveball. I was not expecting you to say that.
Yeah, I have been so, and you know how when I'm real hype about something, I hit you up. I was so hyped when I heard this. It's like I'm gonna hit Abe. Then I was like, I'm gonna just chill. I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna wait.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To the perfect time.
Yeah.
Yo. Now that joint I listened to more than once, and I'm probably gonna listen to it today.
Okay.
It's joints that I like. I like that, man.
I didn't listen to it, but NF dropped a album. The same, you know what I'm saying? The same, but now we need to go check the charts and see what that shit is.
Yeah.
Because it said Clouds, the mixtape is what it's called. 11 songs. He got a song with Hop Sin and a song with Tech 9 on there.
Oh, I think he has a video for that. I think I seen that. I think he got a video for that song.
Word?
Yeah. I think I think that song is a little bit old too.
Probably is. Yeah, those were the only things that I saw that really caught my attention that came out. I didn't listen to anything else from this week.
But, right. Someone was saying that Saha had released a single and they named the song, but I can't find it. I don't see it.
Really?
I think Parks mentioned the song, but I couldn't find it at all.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he was talking about.
I didn't hear that, so I don't know. Let me see if I can. Nah, the last single they got for him was November 2020.
Right. Right. So I don't know what he was. Maybe he misspoke. Maybe he was talking about another artist.
Yeah. Or it could be on something. It could be on
Another platform.
a platform we don't have.
Right. But
Yeah.
is there anything coming that we're waiting on? Well, there's a lot. Well, we know a Drake is coming. We know a Drake.
And we know some cold coming.
We know Cole's coming.
Yeah.
And allegedly Kendrick is coming. So we'll see about that.
Hall of Mirrors. You need to go check them out. Have you listened to them? I'll put you
No.
on. Hall of Mirrors. That's Punch's crew. Yeah, Punch got a crew, and you know what I'm saying? They dropping music.
Okay.
Like a couple female MCs. You know what I'm saying? Like him. I think that's the name of it. Hall of Mirrors. Let's see if I can find it.
Okay. I'll check it out because Punch is nice to me.
Punch is nice as shit, yo. Punch can rap his ass off.
Yeah, you put me on the him.
Yeah, Punch can rap, yo. You'll probably have to find it online. Matter of fact, find Punch on Instagram. If you follow Punch on Instagram, then you'll definitely be able to get to the music from there.
Got it.
Cause that's where I saw it. I was trying to think, is there anything else I wanted to ask you about, yo?
What else been going? Oh man, what else we need to talk about?
I don't know, bro. Is there anything else in the game that I just been needing to say to you?
Is it? I think it's called a room full of mirrors.
There it is. A room full of mirrors.
Somebody on YouTube talking about Punch new group room full of mirrors.
Yeah, that's what it is.
All right.
That's a long ass name for a group, ain't it?
I know.
Yeah, they on there. I will tell you this though. I don't know if you had a chance to listen to it yet. What I sent you earlier?
No.
Well, I'm gonna tell you now. Small World sent me I sent him a beat, a while back, and he sent me like the first 4 bars, 8 bars, something like that, and I sent that to you. Well, this morning at about 10:30, I received the full 2 minutes and 48 seconds. No hook. No hook. He just, man.
I know it's crazy.
Oh, boy.
I know it's crazy.
Boy. He giving them fascists hell. You hear me? If you weren't on the right side of history over the last year or so, he giving you hell. Do you hear me? On that PE dead prayers.
Yeah, I can't wait to listen to that.
Yeah, so that shit was special. So I'm gonna see what he gonna let me do with it. The funny thing is like people don't. Oh man.
What's up?
I started it, but you can't hear it because I got headphones on.
I can't.
And I was like, oh, that ain't gonna help nothing. But I hit play.
I got it here on my phone though.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, man. I don't know if it's nothing else, man. We just needed to have a good conversation. That's all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When he freestyle joints. And I don't know. What all did we talk about? Let's see if we can remember and make a list.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
Joe Budden breakup. First Joe Budden breakup, and every day I wake up.
Yeah.
What else did we talk about? We talked about NFTs, United Masters, Joe Budden breakup. Plugs I Met Too.
Plugs I Met Too.
Dumb and Dumber. I think that's enough.
United Masters. You wrote that down already, right? United Masters.
Yeah, I wrote NFTs, United Masters, Joe Budden Breakup, Plugs I Met Too, Dumb and Dumber 2. Because that was the second Dumb and Dumber.
Yes, 2. Yep.
Yeah. And we didn't discuss anything other than that. That I know of. Oh. We did too. We discussed what makes us great.
Yeah.
A great pod.
Yeah, that was good. I really liked that part. Talking about these cast people. Yeah.
Yeah, man, because we not doing this shit for nothing. But it's you know what I mean? We not doing it for nothing, but we not willing to do it in a way that we don't think is valuable just to gain something either.
Right.
You know?
And 98% of the other ones do.
Right.
And are doing. And the ones that aren't doing that are the ones we name.
Facts.
Like, and I love, people's party, but the only thing with that is that it's interview driven. So I would love to see, even math. I like math show.
Yeah.
But it's same thing.
Yeah.
Interview driven. But so I would love to see what would people have to do if they only could create content with just them and their co-hosts about hip hop. Not gossip, not nothing. Just talk about the actual music, the science, the art. Right.
And another catch is don't sit there and interview yourself either. Don't sit there and tell your industry story.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Like that's a cheat code.
Use that statement in the filler. Yeah.
That's a cheat code.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Like let's, you know what I mean? Like, but I don't know that any of them. I think they may enjoy doing it, but I don't think they would stick with it because I don't know if they would gain traction fast enough.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And it's we still doing it because we don't give a damn about gaining the traction fast enough. You see what I'm saying? Like we want the traction, definitely, but we realize this is a marathon. This ain't no sprint.
Right.
This ain't no sprint. When most of these niggas quit, we'll still be here.
Right. And you got to understand, most of them doing it because of COVID, but not just because they couldn't go outside, but because you ain't getting show money. But people are saying, hey, you get your followers up, your viewers up, you can monetize and start doing this and that. That's what they're doing it. So their motive is the most important thing. Their motive for doing it is money. Yeah. Our motive for doing it is love.
Right.
It's totally different.
Totally different. Facts. And with that being said, bro, I think you put it. I think you sealed that one. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think you sealed that one, fam. It's a dope freestyle episode. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too.
I enjoyed
it. Freestyle, man. Keep your skills sharp.
Facts. Oh, I didn't ask you about the verses. I gotta ask you about the verses. We ain't talked at all.
Right. So I liked it, but it was just what it was to me. Just, it won't like really verse. It wasn't like a real battle.
Right. From Ray and Ghost we talking about.
Right.
Yeah, well, I don't know how Ray and Ghost could really. Well, the funny thing is it might not have been like a real battle, but if you sat there and listened to the records as if it was a battle, then it was. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because neither one of them was trying to get washed.
Right. So they were playing stuff in response, like, oh, you're going to play that, then I got to play this. Yeah. So in that way it was. And I will say this, though. Like, based on what verses have become, or even in the beginning, because you already know if a person got X amount of big records, and we're going for 10 or 20, it's a problem. So when you look at it that perspective, I already know Ghost will always beat Ray in that kind of battle.
Right.
Because he got songs with Neo, Mariah,
Beyonce,
like he got
yeah.
Beyonce, he got wild. Like he had
Yeah.
way more commercial appeal and success and record radios that people know than Ray. So I already know that, and I think he's better at doing those big records than Ray.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But Ray still my, still my favorite.
Yeah, that's funny, and it's, you're right. I didn't look at Ghost that way.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I'm saying? I
guess I know what you
because I never, those big records, like the records with Neo, the records with Beyonce, the records with, I didn't ever give a shit about those records. So it's like they didn't even happen.
Right,
Me.
but the other people do. That Neo, some clock in it, like yo, that was a big freaking Ghost record. People like
huge
that
records.
I'm like,
huge records.
But me, I don't care about that. But I'm just saying, like the people, like more than likely the majority, like if they ain't from our cloth,
right,
and part of my generation, your generation, then more than likely they are going to be familiar with the Shay Ghost records and the Neo records, as opposed to like, oh, Criminology is my favorite Ghost verse.
Right, right. And that was definitely Advantage Ghost. And I'm gonna tell you another Advantage Ghost is energy. Like to see them niggas in the room side by side, Ghost got way more energy. Ghost is a more energetic person than Ray. Ray just too fucking cool.
Right, Ray's so cool. Like I'm telling you, man, he cool. That's a cool dude.
He cool as hell.
Yo, but I love, and everybody. Yo, let me say this though. You can tell all of their intros was real because the way they talk and interact sounds like a Wu intro off of a Ghostface, Iron Man, or Cuban Links, or even the end of Wu Tang Forever.
Yeah.
When Ray's talking, yo, I'm tired of niggas running with the whole globe and shit and not seeing it how it's supposed to be seen and shit. Like all my niggas, when y'all pick up this new Wu album, go pick up uniforms, man.
Yeah.
Like, but it's funny the way he talk is really how he sound on interludes is funny because I read in the comments someone was like, I can listen to Ray talk all day.
Yeah, just listen to it.
Everything sounds like an intro to a song, a skit, an interlude, yo.
Yeah, that was dope. I enjoyed the hell out of that verses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I'm gonna tell you another thing. That verses made me a much larger Ghostface fan than I was.
Oh, right.
It made me a way larger Ghostface fan than I was. Way like nigga, I became a Ghostface fan.
Wow, that's interesting.
During that verses, like that verse, Ghost was impressive.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like Ghost's ability is impressive when you watch him display his ability. Like just listening to Ghost records, sometimes he just kind of lost me. It's like Ghost just talking shit. He ain't talking about nothing. He just. But on the verses, he tell you which songs he's literally not talking about anything. You know what I mean? Like I'm just putting words together. It don't mean nothing. I was just trying to see how many words I can make rhyme. And then he sat on stage and said that shit. I'm like, how the fuck do you even remember this nonsense? These sentences don't even make sense. You see what I'm saying? But he's sitting there and, I mean, he's just rocking them. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
That takes a certain amount of skill to remember babble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To flow babble. Because and I guess some people was like, why would it be so hard to flow babble? You have to, the reason you can remember the words is because you know words. The reason you can remember a sentence is because the sentence made sense to you. Try to remember a sentence that makes absolutely no sense out of context and think that shit's going to be easy. It's not. Now try to rap that fucking sentence and remember how to rap it. That's not easy, bro. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's just certain things that you realize. And watching that thing, like, it was like watching Snoop Dogg.
Yeah,
when he was on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like watching that. Like, them niggas enjoy what they do. They love the music that they make. Like, they love rapping. You know?
Right.
And you can still see it in him. And that was good to see. So, I mean, that shit made me a Ghost fan. I was like, damn, I didn't know I liked Ghost this damn. I didn't like Ghost this much. You know?
Yeah.
But I do now.
That's good.
Yeah, it is. It's good shit. Nigga, it's 30 years later.
Right.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So... But yeah, man. So yeah, that was good. We'll talk about the rest of this Triller and them selling verses and all this stuff on the next one if you want to. Or you want to talk about it now? It's up to you.
The next one, but that's where I was about to go and say we got to cover that. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So if that's the case, on the next freestyle, then we'll do the Triller deal, because we didn't talk about the United Masters deal.
Right, with Apple.
Right. So we'll talk about the Triller deal.
I meant to talk about it.
Huh?
I said I had mentioned it. I threw it out there, but we didn't go into depth and talk about it.
Right. And then we might as well throw the title deal in there while we're doing it.
Yeah. Yep. All that. And we're going to have to at some point talk about Cash App Records, which I'm hearing is a real thing that they're working on.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So we'll talk about that.
That's going to be crazy.
Crazy.
I mean, think about the direct-to-consumer implications.
Oh, my God.
You feel me?
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be easy as me cash apping you $5.
Right. Now imagine if we can get it down to where NFTs are exchanged easily like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where it's headed.
Yeah, that's where it's headed. But I ain't going to keep saying we done and then tack another 10 minutes on, because we probably done did 30 minutes of done talk.
Yeah.
Not from Queens.
Right.
Yeah, done talk. But I'm gonna go ahead and ask the people to go to Conversate for a Few on Instagram and Facebook. Follow us there. Make sure you follow the group Conversate for a Few, extended podcast convos. Make sure you go subscribe to the show on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and Anchor. Stay tuned for the limited edition Few Tang Clan merch. I'm Jonna.
I'm Alan. This is not a podcast about classical music.
Absolutely is not. This is a podcast about hip hop. Make room for the tag.
Conversate for a few.
Hustle, welcome, man, they had to send me. Hustle from Raleigh, live from NC with your hosts, John and Alan. Relate to the two, you are now listening to Conversate for a Few. Check it on SoundCloud, debate with your crew. They talking hip-hop from the late to the new. From July till June end, no Fridays for me, tune in. Please listen to this podcast. 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 Please listen to this podcast.